All right, let's talk about a guy who was maybe on his way to win Defensive Player of the Year last year before the injury, and I want to bring up what he does well and why he could ultimately be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate in 2025. So let's get into it. The Defensive Player of the Year campaign last year started with this game against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay had a tackle go down due to injury, so he was working against a backup tackle, ended up with 4.5 sacks on the day. Hey, that's pretty good. But let's see how he was able to take advantage of this backup right tackle right here. First, when this play begins, you're going to see right here, he's going to start off using power. And I think one of the real amazing things about Hutchinson is, there was all the talk when he was getting drafted with him and Trayvon Walker. Trayvon Walker got drafted first overall. That was considered a pretty big surprise. And the reason why he was drafted was because Trayvon Walker is one of the all-time great athletes, but Hutchinson is also a ridiculous athlete. I think that's kind of what got missed. His speed and his power combination is otherworldly. And because he got to this tackle well so quickly, you see how the tackle's right foot isn't even on the ground right now. He's kind of in between steps as Hutchinson is creating power. And when you're doing that, as a tackle, there's not really a lot you can do at this point. You can't hold on, really. So watch how Hutchinson just sort of rolls right through him and is able to get to poor Baker Mayfield for a sack right there. This is just one of the things he can do, but he definitely has the ability to go straight to a quarterback. He doesn't have to go around and make things work that way. He has the power to get straight to someone like that. So that's part of what I like about him. He also has the speed to make plays like this work, where this is actually going to be a stunt. So what does that mean? Well, so first you see how Tampa Bay is going to be blocking on this play. And we know this going in because they have the Detroit has a nose tackle, a guy lined up on the center. So because of that, since the three players on, the nose tackle and then two defensive linemen to the left of him are going to be rushing the passer, we know that unless Tampa Bay has some crazy blocking concept or some play action or something, which is unlikely since there's an empty backfield, this is going to be the blocking concept. So what is Detroit going to do? Well, they're going to send Hutchinson like that and essentially just disrupt what Tampa Bay is hoping to do. Hopefully they can get a straight shot to the quarterback. That's what Detroit is hoping that can work out. When this play begins, that pretty much is what's happening. You see how there is a gap for Hutchinson to potentially race straight through. So, okay, so far, so good. Of course, the disadvantage in something like this is you're just taking extra time, right? Instead of trying to run straight through a guy, you're trying to run around a guy. That takes a little bit longer. So Hutchinson's going to have the footwork and the acceleration to get to Mayfield quick enough. However, that's going to be exactly what happens as Mayfield pump fakes and then loses the football when there was contact there. Just great stuff there from Hutchinson, right? Good stuff by the entire Detroit Lions defensive line, but that's definitely stuff Hutchinson is capable of doing. Again, showed him beating a backup tackle, then showed him executing a stunt, but he can beat even the best of tackles as he did in this exact game. Heading over here, this is Tristan Wirfs, who is a guy who has won All-Pro at both left tackle and right tackle. This is a star-level offensive tackle going up one-on-one against Aidan Hutchinson. This is not an easy matchup to win if you're Aidan Hutchinson. When this play begins, you're going to see that right here. So Hutchinson goes for a little bit of speed, but that's just tough to do against Wirfs. I'm not showing this play. If you're hoping that Hutchinson's just going to make Wirfs look silly, that doesn't really happen, right? But what Hutchinson is going to do is just battle right here. Watch him pull off this spin move eventually. And listen, didn't have time ultimately to get to the quarterback, but it's still a rep that, if it went on long enough, could have been a win. He's holding his own against the best in the league. And again, just how offensive and defensive line matchups work in pass protection. If you're an elite level pass protector, usually you just don't get beat. So the fact that Hutchinson can kind of beat him is actually really impressive because that's just kind of how the position works. Hutchinson can be effective in other ways. Like, for example, this is going to be a running play. You see where he is. So the tight end, who's currently also in the circle that I have on the screen, he's going to be kind of just getting in Hutchinson's way a little bit, but I'm running out to block someone at the next level. Watch. As you see, that's what happens. You block him a little bit. Hey, you can't block everybody, right? So because you can't block everybody, a lot of times what you do is something like this, get in the way of the edge rusher a little bit and then just run to the other side of the field. Now you don't have to worry about, this play because, hey, it's going to take too long for Hutchinson to get over and tackle the running back, right? There's too much space. Well, again, this is where the insane athleticism of Hutchinson comes in. Watch him be able to get over there, and he still helps make that tackle. Didn't do, fully hold on with the tackle, but still slowed down the running back enough for the tackle to be made. And again, it's just a thing where it makes these types of plays so difficult, because obviously you want to run away from Hutchinson because he's so good at both run defense and pass rush, so you want to run away from him. But if you run away from him, he can still catch up in ways like this. Like this next play is going to be another example of that, where the Cardinals are running away from Hutchinson. They're trying to avoid Hutchinson, trying to take him out of the play. So when you do something like that, okay, usually you don't have to worry about him too much. And watch how, with also the threat of Kyler potentially running, Hutchinson had to step in a little bit. So again, at this point, he should be completely taken out of the play, but he's just a lot better of an athlete than you get even among most edge rushers. As you see, he is still able to get over, and he still is able to make that tackle. So when you have all of these types of things that he is capable of doing, it's just impossible to defend against, really. And what's kind of crazy is I just sort of realized in this video, I don't even really show his incredible technique and his incredible hands in this video. And that's kind of what he's known for, is his technique and his hands. He checks just so many boxes. And in a one-on-one pass blocking situation like this one, you just have to think, like, how do you even come close to stopping a guy like Hutchinson? So something like this, like I said, one-on-one block right here. Watch what happens. So the ball is snapped. As of right here, what do you usually want to do if you're a right tackle? There's kind of two things you want to make sure you get done. First, you want to make sure your feet are parallel with Hutchinson's feet, which they mostly are right here. The footwork is not bad. The other thing you want to do is, if you're a right tackle, it's your right hand. If you're a left tackle, it's your left hand. You want to make sure you get your right hand all the way over on Hutchinson's body, usually on the kind of the left shoulder or pec area. That's what you want to do. If you can get your hand there, then it's going to allow you to have leverage to slow Hutchinson down. And what Hutchinson is maybe the best in the league at, honestly, is not allowing you to get that hand placement where you want it. The tackle's going with a technique where he's kind of being late and showing where his hand is. If you just reach out right away, Hutchinson can just grab onto it and move it aside, so not reaching out quite yet. And so what does Hutchinson do to counter that? Well, he just runs right into the hand to where it never was able to get even outstretched, and because of that, Hutchinson does get just straight through and get to the quarterback. Unfortunately, it was a quickly thrown ball, didn't get the sack there, but still, these are great reps from Hutchinson. So ultimately, and the one thing that I always go back to is, with some of these film studies, it's sometimes hard to really show how good a player is, because I'm showing 6 plays, right? Even bad pass rushers will have 6 plays, but I really would say if you're watching a Lions game this upcoming season, just watch him, and on every play he's doing something. On every play he's showing his value, and that's the real value of an elite edge rushers. Great edge rushers will make the announcer call their name, but the best edge rushers are the ones where every play they are doing something, and Hutchinson is definitely in that second category. So yeah, I certainly think there is Defensive Player of the Year potential with someone like Hutchinson. So yeah, those are my thoughts on all of this. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from ya, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.